This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotato.com.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
I am Iron Man. That's a big twink.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
You are a toy!
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Why so serious?
The city's flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
And welcome to World War G, episode 213. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
No, Colton again today. He's doing dad. Yeah, he's.
Oh, wait, no, I guess already born.
Well, yeah, he's still watching the baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has dad duties and.
I feel like we should have gotten a say, at least in the middle name, you know?
Right?
What the heck? You know, Hodor.
Oh, little baby Hodor.
Yep. That's what, you know how like a lot of the radio hosts, they'll come up with like random names for their children?
Yeah.
Hodor.
Hodor. There we go.
Perfect.
Well, he has 3, so it can be Hodor,
Jon
Snow, and Sansa?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, that works.
Which is funny because they're all 3 girls, so it's funny one of them is Jon Snow. But that works. And you know they're going to hear this, so.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Little baby Hodor.
Little baby Hodor. I'm sure they're so pleased that that's what we're going to call her now. All right, so I went and watched Dumbo yesterday.
I was gonna say, I couldn't help but think that this list had something to do with the fact that you saw Dumbo.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them I'm kind of like, where did he find this list, or where did this even come from?
Yeah.
You know, but this makes sense.
A lot of lists I come across is just because I happen to just come across it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that would be fun to talk about. But this one I seeked it out.
Okay.
This comes from Screen Rant, and this is every Tim Burton movie ranked worst to best.
I'll try to take off my Tim Burton, rose-tinted glasses kind of a thing, and be objective about this.
All right. So we'll see if we agree here, and I'll give kind of my take on Dumbo, obviously later on in the episode. But
yeah.
All right, number 19, Alice in Wonderland. So according to this list, that is the worst movie he's done.
Okay, I'm keeping in my head. I don't know if you know this or not, but I'll be keeping a running total as far as how many of them have Johnny Depp in them.
All right.
Yeah, Through the Looking Glass, I thought was actually, I didn't like that much either. The first one, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, the first one...
But it became more, it was like Alice and the Mad Hatter in Wonderland.
Right. And then the second one just became the Mad Hatter show.
Yeah.
So...
Basically.
Yeah. Number 18, The Planet of the Apes.
Okay. I didn't know that he had done that one.
He did. I think it came out in 2001. It was a remake, obviously.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember it doing all that well.
No, it didn't.
This to me kind of reminds me of the Incredible Hulk. It's the one that they just kind of try to hide.
It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can watch it if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Number 17, and I completely forgot about this film, Big Eyes.
Oh no, this is actually I'm surprised.
Amy
It's
Adams.
one of my favorites.
Really?
I thought this was fantastic, and I didn't realize until the very end that it was a Tim Burton movie. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't extremely Tim Burton-ish, that's for sure.
No. What is that actor? What is his name? Who's in Inglourious Basterds?
Christoph Waltz.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did a fantastic job, as villain. Kind of basic premise is he was stealing his wife's pictures that she was responsible for. Well, because he was already a famous artist. So she kind of piggybacked off of his fame, but then at the same time, then he started taking credit for it and kind of forced her to basically keep producing.
Right, because he basically told her that a woman artist wouldn't be
as successful.
Yeah.
Which wasn't the case at all. Like,
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Okay, so sorry about the quality there.
Yeah, no worries.
In the last 5 minutes, I didn't realize that AJ's mic wasn't coming in, but we fixed it.
Yes, hopefully. Now,
yes, I can see your waveform is coming through, so we're good now.
perfect.
Okay, going back to the list. Number 16, Dark Shadows.
This was a remake of the television show.
The old TV show, yep, with Johnny Depp and, Johnny Depp plays a vampire.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it a couple times, and it's okay.
It's like What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah.
Esque. It's kind of what it reminded me a little bit of.
Number 15. Mrs. Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I never saw it.
No, neither did I. Yeah.
Somehow we missed that one. All right.
Peculiar.
Number 14, Dumbo.
Okay.
Like,
Do you like knowing the other movies that are coming on like later on? Is this rightfully so? Rightfully deserved?
Yeah, kind of right in the middle of the pack.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that it's maybe even, I might even put it like maybe 11 or 12 in there, like right smack in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'll talk about that more. Number 13, Corpse Bride.
Okay.
A very Tim Burton film.
Yes.
I think the problem with Corpse Bride was, I think people were expecting kind of a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And when they didn't get that, they were kind of, or people thought that they were trying too hard to be Nightmare Before Christmas.
When they went into the actual, like, the Corpse Bride, her universe and her realm, I thought they tried a little bit too hard, especially with, like, the skull heads.
Yeah. I think it would have been cool if we would have gone down there and it was Halloween Town.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of tie those two movies together. I thought that would have been kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. But have it be a completely different universe that you're trying to create, but then at the same time utilize a lot of the stuff that you've used in other movies. Yeah. Yeah,
and people have tried to tie connections that the main guy in Corpse Bride was actually Jack Skellington when he was alive, and that was kind of his story, but the theory doesn't quite hold water.
Yeah.
If you watch it, but number 12, Frankenweenie.
Okay. I actually, I thought this one was, pretty dang funny, but then again, it went a little over the top towards the very end, when they all had their pets, attacking.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I do still really like that style, though, and these movies, because it's stop animation, take a couple of years. I know with, I think it was with Nightmare Before Christmas, it took almost 11 years or something ridiculous like that.
It took a long time. I don't know if it was 11 years, but it took a long time.
Where I think these ones, they kind of broke it up and they're like, okay, you do this section, I'll do this section.
Right.
Kind of let's bring it together.
Number 11, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. See, I think Dumbo could go right there, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory could go up the list a little more.
Yeah.
Because it's not great. Though I think the story does lend itself well to Tim Burton, just the execution overall wasn't awesome, in my opinion.
It's difficult because he wants to add his own, flair to it. But at the same time, sometimes that gets in the way of actually telling a decent story.
Yeah.
And I didn't really feel like we needed another adaptation.
No.
It wasn't like we were looking for one.
I think the one we got in the early 70s was just fine.
And the Oompa Loompa being the dude from Narnia. You want your num-nums?
Yeah. The same guy for all the...
Yeah.
Weird. But then again, that's Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Weird. Number 10, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Okay.
May not even realize that is a Tim Burton film, but it is. I think that was actually his first movie he ever did.
that one's got some of my like favorite lines that like I'll still go back. Large Marge, you know, and there's no basement in the Alamo.
You know, I don't think I've seen that movie since I hit double digits in my age.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think maybe... No, it's been like 10 plus years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me...
For myself.
It's got to be when I was a little kid that I saw that. Because I have vague recollections of seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've seen it. Since I know I was a very
Aren't they bringing out
little
another
kid.
one? Like, I want to say that
know.
they're doing something with it.
I don't know. I'm surprised, or not surprised, I'm sad that there was never a Pee-wee and Ernest crossover.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Like, Ernest saves...
Ernest saves Pee-wee. Ernest and Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
I think that would have been talk about your big movie crossovers,
Right? Like you might. I mean, we have the Avengers nowadays, but back then, you know, Pee-wee and Ernest. Yeah. Do you have a favorite Ernest movie? On a side note,
probably Saves Christmas.
Okay.
Or Scared Stupid. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I've probably seen those ones the most. Scared Stupid, I've probably seen the most. Ernest Goes to Jail, it was alright, and Ernest Saves Camp.
Yeah, those three, Christmas, Scared Stupid, and Goes to Jail, are the ones I've seen the most out of all the Ernest films.
Oh, for sure.
I think I've seen them all, but I think those three are the ones I've seen the most.
Did you ever watch the television show, Hey Vern?
I never did.
Okay.
I did go back and watch all of the old, excuse me, commercials that he was in.
Okay.
Because that's where that character started, right?
Yeah.
He was doing local commercials. And they're actually pretty funny. They're all over YouTube, so if you want, you can go check them out. But
back to the show.
Back to the show. Back to the list. Number 9, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
I thought, I personally like this one. I
like it too.
Reminiscent a little bit of V for Vendetta, just with the theatrical blood,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And who knew that Johnny Depp could kind of like hold a tone or a key, a tone? I don't know.
Tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You sir, too sir. Welcome to the grave.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big theater nerd back in high school, and we watched the original Sweeney Todd, and we the whole class kind of did a deep dive on it, and so I have kind of a special place for Sweeney Todd.
Okay.
And so when that came out, I went and watched it, and I thought it was great.
Yeah.
People have commented on Johnny Depp singing, but I mean, look at him, and then look at Russell Crowe.
Okay.
And Les Mis.
Yeah.
And then compare who actually can sing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then maybe you won't give Johnny Depp so much grief.
I think it got hidden. Russell Crowe's performance got kind of like, shadowed by a lot of these other ones, so you kind of like forget about it. And as a whole, it was a pretty,
Yeah. Number 8, Mars Attacks.
I didn't realize that was a Tim Burton movie.
Yep, sure is. It's really odd. It's Tim Burton basically doing a 1950s alien invasion movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically what it is.
Which when that one lady like hooks up with the alien, that just started getting really pretty weird for me.
It got strange. There were head switches on animals, and
this to me could have been like one of the worst, like down at the very bottom. I didn't think it was that great.
It's funny. I'll give it that. It's a funny movie. But I don't know. At this point, it's kind of a cult classic.
Okay.
Which I guess lends well to Tim Burton, but But you're right. I think as far as my opinions go, that one would be more at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 7, Batman Returns. I mean,
it's difficult, but because for a Tim Burton movie, it's good.
Yeah.
But as far as
But
like
for
the
a
Batman movie,
film,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's difficult to kind of compare to, like, I don't know, to have that crossover. And
I mean, with the two Batman movies that he did, the sequel, Batman Returns, was definitely a whole lot worse than the first one.
Yeah.
And I used to think as a kid that the sequel was awesome. Like, I used to love Batman Returns. Then I watched it as an adult, and I'm like, oh, this is not great.
Yeah.
This is not as good as I remember.
It's really reminiscent of Ghostbusters too.
A little bit.
Well, just meaning like you loved it as a kid, and then you go back and watch it, and you're just like, all right.
Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Yeah.
It's part of my sexual awakening as a kid, I think. I'm pretty sure it had something to do with it.
Mine was Mrs. Frizzle.
That's odd. Okay. But yeah, I guess not that odd. I've talked about Gadget.
Yeah.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers. So.
Yeah, that's true. At least Mrs. Frizzle is human.
It's true.
And she's a redhead, you know. Okay.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know you and redheads.
Yeah.
Number 6. Sleepy Hollow.
Okay.
One I've still not seen. I keep meaning to.
Really?
Yeah. Because I like the story of Sleepy Hollow. I always have. So I'm surprised I haven't seen this one yet.
With Ichabod Crane, he kind of plays a little bit an eccentric. It basically, to me, it's really reminiscent of Charlie and the Like, he's like a Willy Wonka, but only in this universe. Because he's got, like, all these different, like, gadgets and gizmos, and they're trying to solve this, like, crime and this mystery, and, like, the Headless Horseman's going around.
Right, because in this one, Ichabod Crane's an inspector, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not a school teacher.
Right.
Right. All right, so they did take a few liberties with the story.
For sure. I do remember, like, the Headless Horseman, like, that scene where he actually dives into the tree was actually pretty cool, like, for its time, like, CGI-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and you and I actually met the Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
We talked to him.
Yeah.
Ray Park. Had quite the lengthy conversation with him. Number 5. Batman.
Okay.
The original 89 Batman. A film that still to this day absolutely holds up.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
It's, like, especially he really captured Gotham City.
He did.
Right? It kind of that over-the-top, dark, dreary, like, you felt like there was crime on every corner.
Mm-hmm.
Going, you know, something shady going down.
Yeah, it was always nighttime. There was always steam coming out from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that he used, some of the tactics he used in that film, people were still using as far as, like, Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah.
Like with the construction of the suit, how it's kind of a rubber suit.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the tropes that he used with him and Jim Gordon and all these other...
Just with
things.
him vanishing, you know, Jim Gordon, like, turn around,
yep.
like, oh,
yep.
Where'd you go?
Yeah, that's stuff that's still being used.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4, Big Fish. People love this movie, and I don't know why. I watched it, and I was bored. I don't get it.
Yeah, it was okay.
I think I'm missing something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I have to go watch it again. Maybe it's just the headspace I was in at the time when I saw it. I don't know, but I just remember it wasn't great. All right. Can you guess what the last 3 are?
Did 9 make the cut?
Nope.
No?
I think 9 was produced by Tim Burton.
Right.
Wasn't exactly directed by him. But there's 2 big ones that we haven't mentioned yet.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nope.
Wait. Which ones have we mentioned?
As soon as I say them, you're gonna go, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I can't, like, man, I'm drawing a blank.
Alright, number 3. Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah,
right.
Okay, yeah.
And this is the most Tim Burton-y movie that's ever been made.
Oh, yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I mean, it lends itself perfectly to Tim Burton and his style, and it really set the stage for every movie he did after.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
this was his like M. Night Shyamalan's, Sixth Sense. Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and it's still such a good movie. I love Beetlejuice. That's one just like Batman that I'll watch at least once a year.
Oh, really?
Every year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just like, I'm bored. I think I'll watch Beetlejuice.
You like say his name 3 times as you're sitting there and it pops up on the TV.
Number 2, Ed Wood. This was...
Not Edward Scissorhands?
Nope.
Oh.
This was basically Tim Burton's kind of homage or love letter to another eccentric director, Hollywood director, Ed Wood, who is known as one of the worst Hollywood directors of all time, who made the worst films of all time.
Yeah.
Specifically Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Have you seen this one?
No.
No, neither have I, yeah.
But, I mean, I know about it. I know enough about it, but, yeah. Apparently some really good performances in it. And, yeah. I'll have to go check it out, because people really, really seem to like that one. And the number 1, you mentioned it.
Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
as far without voice acting, I had 5 of them, like that I counted as far as Johnny Depp goes.
Right. That seems about right. Yeah, Edward Scissorhands, that's usually one I'll watch around Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time. It's Tim Burton doing a fairy tale. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tim Burton. It's his fairy tale movie.
See, and now this is like a much better like fairy tale that actually fits. Like, it's almost as if they had like an animated movie of of Edward Scissorhands, and then he brought it to life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, this is a fantastic, like you were saying with Beetlejuice, this is one of those ones that kind of like lends itself well to like his whole universe.
Yeah. And I think this is where Tim Burton shines the best, is when he's not doing an adaptation of anything. He's not doing a remake of anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a solid independent story that he wrote and came up with himself, like Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
That it just works the best for him, I think. Because he can just take it and then just run with it.
Yeah.
And he's not a slave to any
directors
or any
producers
anything that already exist, or any like Charlie and Chocolate Factory or any of those others.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not surprising that that's number 1 on the list.
Yeah. For the most part, I'd say, I don't know, there was a little bit in the middle that could have been mixed around.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, they got the last half correct.
Yeah, like the very, very worst and very best. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, speaking of Edward Scissorhands.
Yes.
Back when I was still married.
Yeah.
One of the last times that I decorated the tree, Joni got me Edward Scissorhands as a gift. And so as I was decorating the tree, I was watching it, and I realized that Joni had so many decorations and so many things to this tree that it took me the entire film, Edward Scissorhands, to put the tree up.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That's like a couple-hour movie.
I know.
Yeah. That's quite the process.
Yeah. Putting it up and then all the lights and all the decorations. She loved decorating the Christmas tree.
Really kind of funny is on the back half of it, where it usually says like running time, 95 minutes or something. Yeah. It just says like putting up a tree.
Yeah.
Running time, putting up a Christmas tree. Okay, so just jumping right into it. The world is still looking for the last HBO Hidden Iron Throne. If you're not familiar with this,
I didn't know this was a thing.
Right? HBO and Game of Thrones, they kind of teamed up and decided to put 6 different thrones around the world, and only they'd kind of teased it on their Twitter account and said hey, this one we're still looking for it, and they'd posted a picture of where it's located at. Well, you couldn't really make out any landmarks. Mm-hmm. They had one over in the UK, they had one over in Spain, 2 of them had been in Canada, and one up in Switzerland, but they're still looking for this last one that nobody can seem to find. You get you'll also get a crown if you actually do find it. Yeah. Yeah, it would be pretty cool. I haven't been following it enough to actually give a guess as to where it could be, but there's still one out there at large.
Okay, so I thought that this was something in the show. But no, this is out in the real world.
Out in the real world, correct, yes.
Okay. All right.
They just placed these, they seriously, must have had, a helicopter, because these are big, heavy, replicas that they just, took and placed out in these, random deserted places, and people are trying to locate them.
It's interesting.
Getting ready for the last and final season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just around the corner.
I saw a meme, thought it was pretty funny, that said the battle for Winterfell and Endgame all happens on the same weekend, which is going to mark the biggest death of fictional characters in history.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's very true. Wow. Man, that is going to be an amazing weekend.
Or a depressing one, depending.
Or depressing, yeah, very true.
Yeah, that's going to be one heck of a weekend.
Yeah.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, Mountain Dew has created a limited edition Game of Thrones can that changes color to reveal Arya Stark's kill list. So...
Because to give some backstory, she's been with the many-face gods, where she's able to change her appearance and her persona, and they spent a whole entire season on this, to where she can shape-shift, and so you never know who she actually is until she takes off one of these masks and one of these faces. So that's how she's able to infiltrate all these different places and actually assassinate other people. It's kind of an interesting premise. I don't know, they did a much better job, as far as in the book series, kind of going into depth on it, but, yeah.
Alright, so, yeah, it seems it's a regular white can that you can get, and then, I guess, as the colder it gets, then the names start to appear on the can. And a few of them have, are crossed out and that sort of thing.
Because she's kind of been reciting this list over and over in her head. Because she's man, as far as people holding grudges, she's got a vendetta against a lot of people.
Didn't she start this back in season 1?
Yeah.
I seem to remember something about her making a list in season 1.
After her, her family got majority of her family got killed.
Yeah.
She's just kind of all right, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna take you guys out. And now utilizing this ability makes it a heck of a lot easier for her too. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Okay. So the limited edition cans will be available to fans of Mountain Dew and Game of Thrones via social media contest.
Okay.
Using the hashtags a can has no name, and For the Throne, and Mountain Dew Sweepstakes, that's MTNDEU Sweepstakes, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, those hoping to nab one of these special faceless cans can tell Mountain Dew what they would sacrifice for the throne. Just try not to, actually kill anyone with a fire or ice-breathing dragon. So there you go.
Yeah.
If you want one of the cans, hop on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and tell Mountain Dew what you would sacrifice.
Sorry, Dry, you're gone.
Alright, that's fine.
Didn't have to give it much thought.
It's alright.
Just kidding. So there's been a lot of talk lately about this Black Widow movie that Scarlett Johansson is finally getting a movie.
Finally getting a movie.
Right?
Yeah.
And now they finally announced that who the villain's going to, or one of the villains is going to be. The Taskmaster is going to be the main villain in the Black Widow standalone movie.
Mm-hmm.
And besides a little bit like in comic books, the majority of like my knowledge on Taskmaster is going to be actually from that new Spider-Man PS4 game. He makes quite a large appearance. Well, just he has you do these different tasks around the whole city. And he's kind of like testing you for one of his bosses.
Yeah.
And then you actually eventually get to fight him. But
here's the thing with Taskmaster that I think is really cool. He has a very unique power set in the fact that he can perfectly mimic and copy anyone's fighting ability.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone's. All he has to do is see it once, and he can copy it perfectly. I forgot what they call it, but basically he has a photographic memory when it comes to that. So, he can go toe-to-toe with people like Black Widow, Captain America, these incredible fighters, Iron Fist, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because he can fight just like them. He can also apply that to weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So he could get into sword fights with people, guns, that sort of things. All he has to do is see it once, and he has it memorized, and he can do it. It's really interesting.
That's an awesome skill set.
It's really cool. And if they do him right, he can be a really cool villain.
Well, it'd be really difficult, and he's going to pose quite a threat for her, is because that's what she kind of relies on, is these martial arts, fighting moves, run and gun kind of a deal. And if that's taken away from her, how is she actually going to take him down?
Yeah.
How do you think they'll actually do, because he's got this skull mask, and then he's kind of bright orange with a cloak and stuff, and he looks a little bit cartoony to fit into the whole MCU universe.
Right, because he looks like a mix of Ghost Rider, little Captain America-esque in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looks ridiculous.
He does.
But I think there have been updated versions of his outfit to where it's more all black, it's more stealthy.
And that's kind of more of just a more accessible mask. It's also cumbersome.
Right, think of Crossbones in Captain America.
Where he's fighting him on the boat. Yeah.
No, hang on. Civil War. The beginning of Civil War.
Oh, yeah.
Where he has this kind of skull-looking mask, but it's not like an actual skull. If they do it that way, and it's more like tactical gear, tactical armor, I think it could look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've actually been waiting for him to appear in the MCU, because he actually is a really cool... I say villain, but he's more like a... He's kind of like a Venom kind of anti-hero almost.
Yeah.
And he actually teaches... He actually has after a while, he gets this basically supervillain school.
Okay.
And he teaches potential supervillains how to use, how to fight and how to use weapons.
Oh, you have to go against, Batman? Oh, here, let me tell you. I kind of know.
Yeah, well, let me show you his fighting moves so you know how to go up against him.
Yeah.
All right, that sort of thing.
Which would actually, be pretty awesome, because they've done this, in the past, where they have, a Jedi school, and they have a different, they have a couple of different other schools that are all based around, fictional stuff. I hate to break it to you, but Star Wars isn't real. But
what?
But it would be kind of interesting if they had a school dedicated to this, where it's oh hey, you wanted to learn the fighting styles of Black Widow, or oh, you wanted to learn this, you know, kind of a deal, and you kind of pick and choose.
That would be cool,
right?
Now thinking about it, yeah, if you want to learn archery, Hawkeye, you take that.
Yeah. They show, like, and eventually, like, you can get to the point where you can shoot, like, moving targets and stuff.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Right? Open a school that's dedicated to at least a couple of different forms.
Yeah. All right. So, Zack Snyder has made some comments that have upset some people. And here's the thing with Zack Snyder. I've argued with so many people online about how everybody thinks that there's some mysterious Zack Snyder cut of Justice League out there, and it'd be so much better than Joss Whedon's, and my argument is this: even if there is one, that's not going to magically change the acting or the writing or anything else.
Yeah.
Principal photography was done when Zack Snyder left Justice League, so it's not going to change that much. But anyway, I just think it's funny that Man of Steel comes out directed by Zack Snyder and people don't like it.
Yeah.
But people love Avengers and Joss Whedon. All of a sudden you get Justice League and people are like, we want Zack Snyder. Joss Whedon sucks. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on? I hate the internet fanboys. Anyway. So, writer-director Zack Snyder has some harsh words for those who had issues with Batman killing people in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. So, during a Watchmen Director's Cut Q&A broadcast, the filmmaker shared his thought on some of the negative response to his DCU films. This is what he says. Oh, like, Batman killed a guy. I'm like, wake the F up. So I guess that's what I'm saying about once you've lost your virginity to this effing movie, and then you come and say to me something like, my superhero wouldn't do that. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, down the effing road on that. You know what I mean? It's a cool point. Look, I'm 100% fine with it. It's a cool point of view to be like, my heroes are still innocent. My heroes didn't effing lie to America. My heroes didn't embezzle money from their corporation. My heroes didn't commit any atrocities. That's cool, but you're living in an effing dream world. Mythology speaking, I'm 100% fine, and I love more than anything Superman and Batman, but in the same way, Alan Moore was fed up with the effing, like, clearly this is a response. I don't even know what he's talking about at this point.
He just started
he just
ranting.
goes on and on. Yeah. And yeah, he's upset because people are giving him flack that Batman killed people in the movies. But here's the thing. I can see both sides.
Yeah.
Because Batman does have a code in the comic books that he does not kill, even though he has in the comic books. But
right.
And people tend to also put that on Superman, but Superman has no such code.
Restrictions.
No.
No.
That Superman kills if necessary. Anyway.
Well, and the majority of the time when they do kill, it's like either a super villain or creatures.
It's the very, 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 very last resort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, no, I was just meaning as far as like, who cares if you kill like these alien creatures from another planet?
If you kill some demigod from another galaxy, no big deal.
Right.
But on the other hand,
but you rip the president in two,
Yeah,
and then there's issues.
Yeah, then you're labeled evil. But on the other hand, go back and watch Tim Burton's Batman films.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch Christopher Nolan's. I think Batman kills a few people in that. But especially in Tim Burton's.
Mm-hmm.
Batman kills many people in those movies. He does.
Yeah.
He has guns on both his plane and his car.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm sorry, but Batman's not this pacifist or anything.
Yeah, I know. And this is also just his adaptation of Batman.
Adaptation.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you look in the credits and it says based on characters from DC Comics,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't say based exactly on these characters.
Yeah.
These are adaptations of these characters. And
to have you think that it's going to be exactly, I mean, and it's a fine line because at the same time you do want them to hold true to it.
Yeah.
But but if they take a few liberties, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
You know, if they started getting away from like Batman, you know, having a cowl or having a cloak or something like that, then I'd be like, all right, that's like a little bit of a stretch, you know. But just killing somebody,
yeah.
I don't know.
And it's like when people got upset that Superman destroyed Metropolis in that fight in Man of Steel. It's like, have you ever seen a Superman cartoon? Have you ever read a Superman comic? Metropolis gets destroyed all the time.
Right? They're constantly rebuilding it.
Yes.
And that's why I loved so much, actually, in the Amazing Spider-Man movie. Where you actually get to see them rebuilding a city, you know, and kind of picking it back up.
I mean, if you had these two characters that can lift planets and they're fighting, things are going to get destroyed.
Right. Well, and that's what's really difficult is because at the same time, he's hearing, I don't think you realize this, but like Superman's hearing the cries of everybody.
Everybody.
So when he busts through a building or like a building comes like collapsing down, like that would be rough. Yeah, he hears that.
Yeah.
And trying to, I mean, I know like that he can pick out like individual like people and whatnot, but at the same time, those cities, like when they get destroyed, like there's people dying.
Yeah.
Left and right. Yeah,
people die in the comic books and the animated films and the TV shows all the time. But no one cares. But if it's in a movie and it's live action, quote unquote, people lose their minds.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Let's get
Grow the F up.
Grow the F up.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying to get some perspective here.
Yeah.
And bottom line is, none of this is real. It's all fictional.
What?
I know.
Oh, man.
Just as you told me that Star Wars is fictional, I have to tell you that Batman is also fictional.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Speaking of characters that aren't afraid to kill, Keanu Reeves helped fellow passengers after a plane makes an emergency landing. And I'm always like a little tentative to believe that they actually helped out as much as they did.
Yeah. Quote unquote, helped out.
Yeah, but like after reading the article, he did, because they were kind of like stuck on this plane for quite some time, and because it was an emergency landing, so they weren't like planning it, so they were stuck there. So he just kind of like told stories and took photos with everybody that wanted one, and then like even after the fact, like he helped with like luggage, like I'm sure just passed it up like to the next people, like a normal human being would do. But it's still a little bit cooler just because he could be all snarky about it or just be like, no, this is beneath me kind of a deal.
Yeah.
So to actually like help out was kind of cool. And then he actually hopped on the bus that was shuttling people and then just kind of like hung out with them and actually gave a tour of the city and started telling like random interesting facts about the city. So
this goes to show me that I would be a dick as a celebrity.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would do that. Because I'm kind of a dick as a normal person anyway.
If this is like heightened up to like the next level kind of a deal.
Because I wouldn't go and help people with their luggage and stuff like that. I would find a chair, sit there.
I'm in first class. I'm above you.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure people think I was a dick if I was a celebrity.
Is that why you're not famous?
Probably. Too apathetic.
To kind of keep you humble, keep you grounded.
Too apathetic to be famous.
Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, and you hear stories about that with Keanu Reeves all the time. I mean,
oh yeah,
the guy's always doing stuff like that.
Which, speaking of, man, that's gonna be pretty cool that they're gonna go back and do another Bill and Ted's.
Yep. Bill and Ted 3. Bill and Ted Face the Music. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And it's funny because trending on this little article I have has a picture of it. Confirms that William Sadler in Bill and Ted 3 will return as the Grim Reaper.
Seriously?
He's coming back.
Oh, that's legit. That is awesome.
I think that's cool.
I hope they do this movie justice.
Me too.
Make it work.
And especially because the only reason this movie is getting made is because the fans demanded it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The fans wanted it.
Come on, please come back.
Yeah.
That and his counter star.
And Alex Winter needed a paycheck.
I was going to say, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I actually think he does quite a bit. I think he does a lot behind the scenes.
Really?
Alex Winter. I think so. I think he does a lot of documentaries and stuff like that. But.
Mm-hmm. This would be kind of like Justin Timberlake going back to his old
going back to
a little bit.
Going back to NSYNC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Giving him one more tour.
Doesn't really need to, but like the fans wanted it.
Fans wanted it. So, so we know that they're doing a remake of Chucky.
Yes.
Or Child's Play, and that's coming out here soon. I think later this year, actually. But it's been announced just recently that the voice of Chucky will be none other than the legendary Mark Hamill.
Really?
Luke Skywalker himself will be the voice of Chucky. And if you don't know, Mark Hamill is actually a very popular and very big in the voice acting community.
Yeah. He's Mr. J.
Yep. He was a Joker. He's a very popular voice actor and really good at it. So
I think it could be cool. I think it could work, but at the same time, Chucky has always kind of been more. Well, he's had like a darker, evil, like grown man's voice in the past.
He did, yeah.
Like some of them, like he's more of like in Child's Play, he was kiddish, like as like. But then when he actually turned evil, then he had kind of a. Do you think that this will actually he'll sound like the Joker, perhaps?
I don't think so.
He'll kind of make it his own?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be a mistake to do it as
it would.
Joker. Yeah. So no, I don't think I think he'll do another type of voice or whatever. I was going to say accent, but I don't think he's going to do an accent. Yeah.
Do we need I know that this is just coming back because of we've already had a new Halloween movie and we've had a couple of these other ones. Do you think they're going to go back and redo all of these or just add more to it? Another Jason movie, another Alien movie, another.
I think it'll depend on how this movie does.
Okay.
Okay, if this movie fails. Just like...
Well, couldn't we have said the same thing about the new Halloween movie? That if that movie does well...
That's true. Is that one getting a sequel?
Oh, it already had one, dude. Halloween?
No, the one that just came out.
That is getting a sequel, yes.
It's getting
correct.
another one? Okay.
Well, spoiler alert, he survives.
Right. Because I know Halloween has had 1,700 sequels.
To me, there's only the first one and this one.
Yeah.
I could do without the other ones. This is actually a true sequel to it.
Yeah.
Because it even it paid homage perfectly to the original one.
Yeah, so I think if this one does well, I think they'll probably continue with it. But if you look at Nightmare on Elm Street, when they tried to reboot that, it failed.
Yeah.
And they tried to reboot Halloween. Again, Rob Zombie did a couple Halloween movies.
Right.
And those, they didn't do horrible, but they didn't break the box office. I think they made their money back, but...
And I'm not too familiar with the mythos of Chucky. I haven't seen all of them to know where this one would actually tie in. If they're gonna try to make you forget, the Bride of Chucky and all these other ones.
I think this is a straight up reboot.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I know about Chucky is that, and I've seen the first one, is that basically the soul of this murderer, this serial killer, ends up in this doll.
Right.
And so then the doll goes on a killing spree.
To me, Chucky has never been all that menacing of a character. It's a little doll. And I could just use a golf club and keep him at bay.
Yeah.
And he's running around. It's okay, just go into a room where he's not, wait for him to come in and beat the hell out of him when he comes in.
He's plastic and cloth.
Yes.
It's how scary can that be?
Shotgun.
Shotgun.
Boom. Like, take it out.
Fire.
Fire.
Burn him.
Yeah.
Melt the sucker.
Baby-proof little, like, cage thing. Like, just, like, set up one of those things.
Or just shut a door. He's not that tall.
Yeah. He pushes a chair up against that one to, like, try to open the door, and he's like, all right.
Unless he has man strength, you know.
Yeah.
Then I could see him being a problem, but they never really explore. I don't think they ever really explain that in the films.
No. And the scary part about it is because he's, like, really small and, like, can, like, hide anywhere, and, like, you wouldn't expect him, but yeah, he doesn't seem all that.
No, he's
menacing.
No,
I hope they do a better job with this one of actually making him seem like more of a posable threat.
Yeah, I hope they make him more of a supernatural type of threat. Kind of like
Poltergeist.
Yeah, yes. Poltergeist, kind of mixed with Annabelle, that sort of thing.
Okay.
You know?
That he's maybe... That's true, yeah. That he's maybe able to move, like, stuff around the room and, like, chairs flying and all sorts of other stuff. Yeah.
So if they make it more of a supernatural threat, then I could see that actually being somewhat scary, unlike the other films.
And perhaps maybe a little bit dive into his origin.
Yeah.
Right? Explain this serial killer and what he exactly did.
I think it'd be cool if they started out where you see Chucky and he's already doing menacing things, and they keep cutting back to his serial killer life.
Okay.
And kind of leading up to him becoming Chucky.
Yeah.
Like it's a series of flashbacks that keep going back and forth. I think that'd be kind of interesting. But
that could actually work, yeah. So speaking of sequels, Cillian Murphy joins Emily Blunt in John Krasinski's A Quiet Place sequel.
I'm sad that John Krasinski's not coming back.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, it makes sense. Spoiler, he didn't make it.
Is this going to be just like... I hope they're able to clean up a couple of, like, the questions that we had, like, in the first one, if they do this. I mean, since it's going to happen, like, explaining how you'd actually, like, really survive and how they were able to actually set up this whole place. Because, like, when the aliens invaded, you know, oh, crap, I gotta, like, throw sand all around, you know, and how these people actually lived without being attacked by these aliens. Just live close to a waterfall, you know. Or, because if you so much as, like, move or breathe, they're coming after you.
Yeah.
I don't really know that we really need one. And as much as people, like, loved this movie, I just thought it was okay. I
liked it. I mean, I thought it was a clever movie.
Yes.
I think that's why people really enjoyed it, because the plot was pretty clever.
Mm-hmm.
But in making it that clever, you opened it to a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
And
that, and also I didn't ever feel like that girl was in danger for her life.
No.
Because she had her hearing aid that would just go off and then they would just, like, run away.
So I think it'd be interesting if they did a prequel to it. I think it'd be cool if that's what this movie was.
Rather than, like, a sequel, kind of do a prequel to it.
So you could see how these people survived, how they had to learn all this stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I know that, like, Fear the Walking Dead didn't do so well compared to The Walking Dead because we already know where it eventually goes.
That's true.
So but, like, at the same time, that would be, like, that would help to explain a little bit more. That you maybe had to, like, perhaps a couple of months and, like, it was reported on the news that, hey, these aliens are attracted to sound, you know, so you can kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know that, like, it's really needed.
I don't think so either. I think it would have been fine without a sequel.
Yeah. Let sleeping dogs lie.
Yep.
Let it remain quiet.
Yep.
Kind of a deal.
Okay. So I saw a couple films this week.
Yeah.
One with you, one without. So I'll talk about Dumbo first. I saw that yesterday because I had some time to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So this is of course, directed by Tim Burton. Obviously, it's an adaptation on the classic 1941, I think, Disney film. Now, here's the thing with adapting Dumbo. Dumbo, if you remember, is a very short film.
Yeah.
It's barely over an hour long. So, that's a challenge. The other challenge is there are not many humans in Dumbo.
No.
So there's another challenge. Challenge number 3 is a lot of animals talk in Dumbo.
Right. Which we have seen done well, like in the in like other one, like the Jungle Book.
Jungle Book.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you go? Do you have the animals talk? Do you not? Do you make it more realistic? And so they decided to make this a bit more realistic. It's still a Dumbo. I mean, it's still a Dumbo. It's still an elephant who flies with his ears.
Yeah.
So I mean, how realistic can you get? But
I was worried that this would go the direction of like Pete's Dragon.
I didn't see the new Pete's Dragon. I never did watch it.
Pass on it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like it. So okay, here's the premise. So there's this circus that's traveling these train tracks. It rolls into town, and it's run by Danny DeVito.
Okay.
And who buys an elephant from a guy and the elephant, Mrs. Jumbo, happens to be pregnant, and she ends up giving birth to Dumbo, or Jumbo Jr., as they call him initially.
Okay.
And then what happens, I'm not giving anything away, saw in the trailer, Mrs. Jumbo causes a little bit of a problem in the circus. People end up getting injured, and so she gets carted off, and Dumbo stays with the little circus.
There was where Troy cried the first time.
Yeah, I cried several times in this.
Was I right with 3? I said 2 or 3.
It was probably 3.
Okay.
It was probably 3.
All right.
One of the times I cried,
yeah,
is that freaking Baby Mine song
mm-hmm.
that was in the original Dumbo.
Okay.
That'll make me cry anyway. But you think hand-drawn animation elephants doing that will make you cry. Wait till you see computer-generated elephants that look real.
Yeah.
In that situation, it'll tear your heart out.
Being torn apart from each other.
Yep.
No, mama.
And it doesn't help that they made Dumbo the most adorable thing to be on film in a long time.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Because he's got those huge ears that he's like, and he's pretty clumsy.
Yeah, he's clumsy. He's got the big ears. He's got the really big blue eyes.
Yeah.
And the little baby elephant noises he makes. It's really cute. But, so what ends up happening is Michael Keaton gets wind. His character gets wind that there's this flying elephant in this circus.
Yeah. And
Michael Keaton is the owner of this really big amusement park / circus.
Okay.
And so he shows up at Danny DeVito's circus and pretty much offers to buy everything.
But mainly for this one attraction.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then I'll leave it from there.
Well, the way the circus, and we've talked about this before, is kind of going under, so it's not that far-fetched to think that, hey, it's not going to survive, but at least get what you can, take the best parts about the circus and like this new attraction, and at least save that.
That's almost what Michael Keaton's character says to Danny DeVito.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. This, this isn't sustainable. Let's keep this thing going.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So they had to craft a story around Dumbo that involved this family.
Mm-hmm.
Which they did a pretty good job at. They did craft the story pretty well. At the same time, they still hit the beats from the original animated film.
Okay. So
they integrated that pretty well.
Where did they fall a little bit short?
It feels, the movie itself just kind of feels hollow.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much substance. Yeah, there's not much depth there. There's not much substance
Okay.
to the story, to the plot.
Well, the original one is there besides those beats, you know?
Not a whole lot, no.
Yeah.
So I guess in that way it kind of makes sense. But it also, it doesn't feel like a Tim Burton film.
Okay.
Like, if you didn't tell somebody who the director was, and then they wouldn't watch it and said, who do you think the director was? Nobody would say Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have any of the Tim Burtonisms. There's no Johnny Depp. There's no Helena Bonham Carter. Nobody is dressed in stripes. There's no curly things everywhere.
Not even with the circus itself, really? And like the interesting characters?
That is the only Tim Burton-y thing, is that there's a circus. Which he does circuses a lot.
Yeah.
But that's really the only thing. Also, there's a lot of CG in this movie. A lot of CG. And so, sometimes it really works. Other times it doesn't. When the family's interacting with Dumbo, sometimes you can tell that they used... I don't know if they used an actual baby elephant. Maybe, I'm not sure. But you can tell that they were actually touching something. Yeah. And they just crafted the CG around it. Other times it seemed incredibly, you can tell this is very computer animated.
Right.
And so it wasn't consistent throughout the whole thing. The other thing is, you knew where it was going. It's a very predictable film.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as Michael Keaton shows up, his name might as well have been Baron Von Bad Guy.
Yeah.
And he should have shown up with a top hat and a cape twirling his mustache.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because you can tell, okay, that's the evil guy. Clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some cool parts in it. There are some funny parts in it. There are certain parts that will, if you're like me, it will make you cry.
Mm-hmm.
Made me cry a few times.
So for the avid Disney lover, are they going to like this?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. If you enjoy the Disney live action remakes, you'll probably enjoy this one.
Okay. At least it didn't because this could really have like we were talking about with like Chucky and revamping this franchise, and this could be the turning point if this one doesn't do well, because they've got like quite a few of them lined up down the pipe, and if this one doesn't do at least like subpar, then it would be difficult for them to keep continuing making more and more of these.
I think this movie though would have benefited a little bit if Tim Burton would have put more of his style into it.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Just throw a few Tim Burton-y things in there.
Especially when it comes to like the circus.
The circus and the clowns.
There's so many, like the bearded woman, like people that are like using like the sword, like swallowing swords, and the snake dance charmers, those kind of people. Like, that's one thing that I was thinking, this could work well for like Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Like, he'd have a good time with that.
And you'd think he would, but no. It's like Disney told him, no. Like, look, Tim, we know your films. You've done good things for us, but for this one, tone it down.
Yeah.
So, out of 5...
They call him Timothy. Like, Timothy?
Yeah.
Like, more Timothy, less Tim.
Yeah. More Tim, less Burton.
Yes.
So, out of 5 baby freak elephants...
Okay.
Oh, that's another thing. I know elephants are very intelligent.
Yes.
But I don't think they're that smart as to comprehend bargains. Like, if you do this for us, we'll do this for you. And that's kind of what they intimated that Dumbo did. But anyway. So out of 5 freak baby elephants, I'm giving this a 2.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 2.
Deuces.
Yeah, I think it works for like a watch if you want to go check it out. There's a 2D and 3D versions. I don't think you have to see it in 3D.
Yeah, it's not going to change the viewing experience much.
It's not.
Was there any moments where like, because some of the 3D movies that they've done, you can tell, oh, this movie would, like, this is when he's flying around or, like, comes, like, towards the screen. That's a moment that they would have done in 3D.
There is a moment with pink elephants.
Okay.
The pink elephants that they did manage to work in.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty cool in 3D. I will say that.
Okay.
So, yeah. Also, Michael Buffer is in it, which is weird. If you don't know who Michael Buffer is, he's the guy that does Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, he's in it.
What?
As a circus announcer. And he says, let's get ready to Dumbo.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. That was a little bit of a groaner there.
Kind of campy. Pretty bad.
Or let's get ready for Dumbo. That's what he says.
Let's get ready for Dumbo.
For Dumbo! Yeah. No.
Cringeworthy.
And it's so odd because the movie takes place in like 1919, I think, or 1910.
Yeah.
One of them. And so to see him there, it's just, it's really odd. It's really weird.
You thought Dumbo took you out of like the, out of the moment a couple of times.
Oh, that takes you so far out of the moment.
Yeah.
Like, it is jarring when he appears on screen.
What the?
What the? Can you get just some random actor? Why do you gotta get him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. Speaking of movies that are weird.
Yes.
You and I took a little field trip and went and saw Us.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Peele's follow-up.
Now I've had to
Get Out.
Yeah, now I've had a little bit of a chance to kind of let it resonate, and I've watched a couple of YouTube videos.
Me too.
And explaining this, and I will say that did help and actually make me appreciate it a little bit more. So, basic premise. Should we kind of break it down? This young girl, she it's difficult because you don't want to go too much.
It is difficult. I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to give a whole lot of the plot away.
This family is there on vacation, and they encounter another family who are basically them.
Yeah.
Doppelgangers of them, but different, and it's pretty noticeable in what regards.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of forced to play their games and to kind of go do what they want to do, because they're kind of held captive. They're forced to stay in this house, which I didn't realize from the trailers that's the direction that they were going with this.
Yeah. Agreed.
I guess with a little bit of a spoiler, come to find out everybody, the majority of people have especially in this small little community have a doppelganger.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of spreading, and this was basically Jordan Peele's attempt at saying that a lot of the times with aliens and these different invasions and stuff that take place, they're extraterrestrial, they're out of this universe, they're not from here, but this is more of this is us, that we are our own biggest threat.
Right, we're our own worst enemy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Whether that's through environmental reasons or through political reasons or for whatever reasons. But it didn't seem too political that it threw you off. If you were just watching this just as a scary movie, which, man, the group that we went with, they were hilarious.
Yeah.
Everybody that was just in the theater were yelling and screaming.
I'm pretty sure the people that were on the same row as us, the young kids, I think they were drunk.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
Positive of that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Which should make for a funny experience.
Mm-hmm.
Funny movie-going experience.
But if you were to take this as kind of a standalone scary movie, there were some pretty, there were some pretty cool scenes.
Yeah.
I thought it worked pretty well, although it did kind of throw me off a little bit because a lot of the times, this black family, they weren't abiding by the typical tropes that you would see from black actors in a scary movie, which was actually pretty refreshing. That she's actually, it bothered me just because I was just like, oh, what the heck? Like, why would you get out of your car? Why would you go see if this like creature is like dead? Just like stay in the freaking car, like stay in the house, like where it's safe. But at the same time, you need those in a scary movie to create suspense.
And I just realized the funny thing, how they always say the black people die first. Mm-hmm. Not in this one.
No. Yeah. Like, I mean,
the white family dies first.
Oh, yeah. They got taken out pretty brutally. Those twins.
Yeah.
Were so dang creepy. Like, yeah. Yeah, overall, like, without giving too much of, like, spoilers, it was different. It was like unique. You will for sure have to watch like a couple of different YouTube videos to kind of like have him explain it a little bit more to you. But yeah, what were your thoughts overall?
Well, after the movie, when you and I were driving back, we were talking about it, and I said that I think the reason I like Get Out more was because he was focused more on the story. Mm-hmm. And then you went back and started to pick up the clues.
Correct.
Whereas this one, it was like all clues, and then you'd have to go back and watch it to kind of understand what the story is. Like, it's complete opposite.
Right. Like, similar to, like, Fight Club, to where you have a perfectly fine story that works in this universe, and then, like, you start realizing, oh, all these other little things, you know, then it's cool to go back and find these Easter eggs. But with this one, it was like they were throwing out like tons of Easter eggs. Yeah. And you didn't know what it was until you could like till the end. And
the story got buried underneath it all. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why I like Get Out more. Now when I went back and watched some YouTube videos, kind of explanations on the ending and that sort of thing, I understood what Jordan Peele was going for and the message he was trying to send. Yeah.
Interestingly executed.
Yeah.
There was a couple of like plot holes still for sure.
Exactly. That's just what I was going to say. It doesn't explain everything.
Similar to like A Quiet Place.
Yeah. Know? Like, now that I understand what the movie was about, there's still many pieces of it that don't make sense.
Correct.
That don't make any sense. And I think that's what is bothering me the most about this film. Because I keep thinking about it and I think, well, wait. Why is there this if there's this? And how did they do this? And like a lot of it just doesn't quite add up. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Get Out, once you start thinking about it and seeing it a couple times, everything falls into place,
and it perfectly fit. Like it perfectly fits. Perfectly, yeah. Like, oh wow, that is like extremely well executed, and that they did a great job with this. And then like you get like you were saying, like just these added on little things that only make it better.
Yeah. And so I don't know. And we were also talking that we were hoping that Jordan Peele doesn't go the way of M. Night Shyamalan,
right?
That he doesn't start believing his own hype and starts going over the top with these political messages and these sort of things. And
right.
Doesn't
I get that as a director, and that you do want to make something that's poignant and resonates, and like perhaps has a because of course it's going to have a part of you in the movie,
right?
But at the same time, don't go that direction. Don't get stuck in only being like a one trick kind of pony kind of a where it's just like everybody's expecting there to be like deeper meanings,
a deeper meaning.
There's all these other like hidden things in it, because then you're only setting yourself up for failure when you don't meet these expectations.
Yeah, you're gonna pigeonhole yourself.
And that's like he's already doing like the new Twilight Zone as well, which will be kind of interesting. But yeah, I hope he's able to branch out a little bit, or to do a couple of different other movies, so that they realize that he can he's very versatile.
Do other things.
Because he is known primarily as a comedic, actor. So for him to do scary movies, that's already pretty cool and like opening up his portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see, you do some of these other things as well.
Yeah, and I think also the reason Get Out worked so well is because, and I've watched interviews with him, and he said that a lot of that he drew from his own life. Mm-hmm. Being half white, half black man. A lot of times you don't feel like you always fit in certain communities and
like certain like situations could be pretty like awkward or like difficult to kind of get through, Yeah,
people can be
insensitive and not realize it.
Yeah. But with us, he got the idea because he saw a YouTube commercial about Hands Across America. Mm-hmm. So I think this movie wasn't as personal as his other one was. And so
that's true, yeah.
That's kind of where it also falls apart a little bit.
But I mean, it's difficult because when you're creating something yourself, you want to throw it's got to take quite the toll to be able to, you only have so many like stories and stuff that you can like draw from.
Sure.
And to have it mean something to yourself as well as hopefully it means something to everybody else. I can, like, me personally, I could think of maybe like 4 or 5 experiences that were like really meaningful that like I could share like on the screen. But other than that, it's just like, I don't know, everybody else has also experienced these things as well.
Yeah. So out of
scissors.
Out of 5 scissors.
Yeah.
Yep. I think I'm going to do the same as Dumbo and give it a 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I probably after initially watching it, I was probably at about like a 2 or so, but like after going into it a little bit more, 2.5.
Really?
Yeah.
And when I left the theater, or when we left the theater, I was ready to give it like a 1.5. Mm-hmm. But the more I started to think about it and kind of understood where he was coming from, like, okay, I can see it now, and so that's why I gave it a 2.
So I was thinking like 2 initially, and then bumped it up a little bit by 0.5 point. So there you go.
All right. Oh, hang on. I have the paper that has all this on it. I should just put it somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't have to get out my phone and go through all my pictures here. Okay. So, here's where you can hear all of our episodes. You can listen at worldwarg.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes, the Google Play Store, and at cosmicpotato.com. On the social media, you can hear us at facebook.com/worldwargpodcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at WWG Podcast. You can also buy any of our merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/WorldWarG. I was actually just looking at that site yesterday, actually. And there's a bunch of new stuff on there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Like we have little camper mugs and all kinds of fun stuff. So you can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. You can also call or text the show at any time at 385-240-1692. Let us know what you thought of us and what you thought maybe the deeper meaning behind it was. So, this has been World War G episode 213. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends. And watch out for the tethered.